Hello there, Ophiuchus, beautiful Seeker 13. So happy to have you join me here. Welcome to the Existential Shift. If you're new, my name is Morgane. So, Ophiuchus is known to be the 13th sign. It's not as new as some people think, because astronomers allegedly recently discovered the constellation of Ophiuchus, which allegedly debunks the astrology. Major BS, so much ignorance. Ophiuchus is actually a very ancient, known constellation. The ancients have used Ophiuchus as a sign, as part of the wheel. But as I see it, and you'll probably read it in other sources, probably more older ones as well, for me, is the sign that is all the signs, meaning it is the wheel of the zodiac, not as much as it is breaking out of the zodiac as it's breaking through the zodiac. It's being all of the signs and none of the signs. It's basically the purpose for me in a philosophical, more highest frequency energetic level. For me, it's the purpose of astrology, whereas it's not supposed to limit us to a certain set of characteristics and tell us what we are, as opposed to being the roadmap to finding unison between all our different aspects as human species and as human condition and as any energetic existing condition. Basically, the whole notion of oneness is us finding oneness within ourselves, which is a submerging of all of the aspects within us that exist in existence in general. So Ophiuchus, which by the way means in ancient Greek or Latin, depends on how you look at it, serpent bearer or light bearer in other terminology, is the evolution of all the signs, not just from the light aspect, but also from the shadow aspect, right? It has both negative and positive attributes. It doesn't have a counterpart, like Taurus, Scorpio, Pisces, Virgo, Aries, Libra, and Leo, Aquarius, and so on. All of its duality is within it. It's a very complicated, complex sign. It's an intense sign. It's somewhat of a combination, if you want to think in easier terms, of Sagittarius, Scorpio, and Sagittarius, right? The technical dates are between November 29th and December 17 or 18. So those of you who are born on those dates are technically in Ophiuchus. But for the sake of these videos that I'm now adding to the shift as a 13th video, it's also Seeker 13. And if you've been following me for a while, you know what I mean by that. It's the other aspect of the zodiac that goes through. Once again, the only way out is in. I say it all the time, and it's an ancient notion from ancient wisdoms. The only way out of anything is through it, by integration and transmutation. So Seeker 13 / Ophiuchus, you can be any technical zodiac sign. It really depends on your spiritual journey and quest and how you have evolved through your lifespan and lifetime's lifespan. Okay, we are all the signs, whether in this lifetime or in conclusion of several lifetimes. We go through the zodiac to expand our consciousness and to experience life fully from different point of view, to go back to oneness, basically. Okay, to be the one that has been split into the many breakages. We have to connect all those by experiencing all those, by being all the pieces of the puzzle. That's the big picture. That was a big introduction. I will probably keep doing that every month with different aspects to it, just to help you understand. At one point, maybe I'll stop, maybe I won't. We'll see how this evolves. Also, this is in honor of the Existential Shift, who is an Ophiuchus. This channel was born on December 14th. So, anywho, hey there, Seeker. Let's look into this coming month. There won't be an extended. Your extended is already out there on my Vimeo or Patreon. as the zodiac signs that you connect with, resonates with, feel are most dominant right now in your life when it comes to their energy. If you want all of it, I recommend joining Patreon, where you get all the signs for a far better cost by the month. Okay. 3 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups. I'm using a combined deck of the Mythic Tarot the Mythic Tarot from the Greek mythology, so in honor of Ophiuchus, and the Rider-Waite. Those are my 2 first decks ever. Sorry, let's go into the reading. 3 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups. There is something that you're good with, you know. 3 of Pentacles, you're grounded with it, you're stable with it, it makes sense, it's good for you, you worked for it, you have it, you appreciate it, it's great. But something in you calls out for deeper expansion of your understanding of either it or life in general. Thus, the 8 of Cups denotes you kind of possibly in your mind alone. This doesn't mean you necessarily are leaving something stable, as much as in your consciousness you're kind of gliding towards other ways of thinking, or just going within to a deeper aspect of yourself. The 8 of Cups in the mythology symbolism behind the tarot is where where Psyche goes down to the underworld to meet with Persephone, the goddess of the underworld, in order to prove her love to Cupid. And it's a death mission. It's a mission impossible. Basically, that Demeter, mother of Cupid, is it Demeter or Aphrodite? Aphrodite, not Demeter. Demeter was Persephone's mother. Correction. They're both very symbolic for the divine feminine, that's why. But Aphrodite originally was I'm not go all into the story, just give you the guidelines. Aphrodite was super jealous of her son's love to Psyche. Originally, she was jealous of Psyche because she was known to be the most beautiful mortal, and Aphrodite was known to be the most beautiful goddess, but people started worshiping Psyche the mortal for her beauty, and she was like, so she sent her son, Eros or Cupid, depending on how you want to refer to him, but it's the same archetype, to shoot to death Psyche with his arrows. And he went on that mission in the name of his mother, and when he saw Psyche, he actually fell in love with her and couldn't go through with killing her. So he master planned this entire crazy ass plan to get her to get sacrificed by her village and by her people to an alleged beastie sea monster, in order to have them save their own life from an alleged made up disaster that is coming. And he succeeded, and then he pretended to be that sea monster or whatever monster, and he kidnapped Psyche to his palace. That's the entire story, by the way, of the Suit of Cups in the tarot. He kidnapped her, he brought her to his palace basically to save her life, but all she knew was a monster kidnaps me. Okay, it's an ancient tale, but he truly loved her, and she truly loved him. She fell in love with him as well, but the unknown was terrifying for her because she couldn't actually know who he was. And the notion of being lied to and not knowing the truth about behind their love, who he is, why they're together, and so on, and gave her so many doubts and insecurities, and she ended up leaving him and thus also regretting it. A whole story. Bottom line, she wanted to prove her love for him again, and Aphrodite was like, if you want to prove your love to my son, you got to go through 3 massive major impossible missions, and Aphrodite sent Psyche to the underworld, the kingdom of the dead in the Greek mythology, where no one returns from. So this is Psyche walking down the stairs towards the underworld, allegedly to request something from Persephone, the queen of the dead, the queen of the underworld, to bring back to Aphrodite. But she knows she's not going back. She knows it's a suicide mission. But for her, it no longer matters. Que sera, sera. I have to do this. I don't have another choice. What will be, kind of thing. So this is you kind of having it safe, having the Three of Pentacles, having it known, having it figured out, and yet you feel like there's something else that you're willing to risk and take an endeavor to find out a certain unknown in your life. And you know that there's no way for you to know what the consequence will be or what this will result in. Good, bad, happy, sad, fantastic, or tragic. And yet you want to go there anyway. Seeker 13, Ophiuchus, you are contemplating or already are undergoing a risk of some sort in the name of something that is bigger than you, that you can't explain, but you understand you have to do. Let's see how this works out. This could be leaving an established, safe relationship, if not in actuality, then in your fantasies, for the sake of discovering someone, something new that you can have with them. That is mysterious, that is unknown, and yet you feel drawn to. This could be leaving an established job, career, for the sake of something that you fantasize about for as long as you know yourself, or that maybe you just discovered. Maybe it's new to you, but it's just it's so fascinating to you that it feels ancient for you. Either way, it scares you. Five of Wands, and people around you don't understand what the age you're doing. What the hell? What the hell, literally. What the hell are you going to hell? It's not really hell. It's not like the religious hell of where the evil goes to. It's the Greek mythology hell. The pagan Helheim. Where everything that is gone from this life, that is energy, goes to. And people around you can't fathom that, because most of us still live in the condensed 3-dimension reality. And also, this journey isn't going to be simple, in case you're wondering. It's going to be full of monsters and dragons that you need to slay. I don't like the notion of slaying dragons. I love dragons. Say hello to my dragon. Why would a serpent bearer want to kill a majestic, mythical serpent/dragon? You wouldn't want to do that. It's symbolic. You need to defeat some monsters. You need to defeat the simpletons. Those are the true monsters. The people around you that force you to stay stagnant and to not believe in the impossible. 8 of Wands. And you're going for it anyway. It's like there's a siren calling you. You're drawn to it like moth to a flame. The second 8. Major change. Temperance. I really see it as an Ophiuchus kind of card. That and the Death card, a combination of the two. I just said believing in the impossible. This is making the impossible possible. Maybe you'll have something in common with, was it Sag or Gemini? Sagittarius reading, speaking of temperance. I named it, there's no such thing as impossible. The word itself says impossible, quoting Audrey Hepburn. The quote is right here behind me. 6 of Pentacles. Leaving something good for the sake of something great can succeed. From Three of Pentacles, you go on a journey, a risky journey, a skillful journey, and you double the coin. From Three of Pentacles to Six of Pentacles. Double the coin. Toss a coin to your Witcher. Do you know that show on Netflix? They only just finished the first season and now they're shooting the second season. God, I love it. It's so good. That Geralt and Yennefer. I love it. Toss a coin to your Witcher. He's a monster slayer, speaking of. Gotta love how everything connects. And ironically, he is a monster himself. The only thing that can defeat something is that something. Like in homeopathy, where we heal something in our body with that alleged injury, venom. We use the matter that hurts us in order to heal us. Takes one to know one kind of thing. A monster that slays monsters. God, I love this reading. Six of Pentacles after Temperance and the Eight of Wands. Something works out really well and you're mind blown of how it even happened. Now, you shouldn't be as mind blown because if you look back, the things that you had to do and endure and the risks and the creativity in your way of going about whatever this is immense and ought to be acknowledged. You'll be getting your coin, Witcher. You'll be getting your coin, Witcher. Show me more. For Ophiuchus. Ooh, too many cards. For February? Or whenever you're guided to watch this. Speaking of 13th, as I'm recording this on February 1st. Tomorrow, February 2nd, what's the word? There's a premiere for a 13th element video that I did about narcissists and empaths. So join tomorrow. It will air East Coast, it's 2 p.m. West Coast, it's 11 a.m. on my channel. Sunday, February the 2nd. If you're watching this after this, it's on my channel. It's not going to disappear. You can watch it on my channel. Speaking of narcissists, Narcissus from the Greek mythology, the Page of Cups, and here we have Justice. Narcissism is a word based off Narcissus, a character in the Greek mythology, who fell in love with his own image when he saw himself in the river. And he was so compelled by himself, he didn't notice that he was literally slowly falling into the river, and then he drowned, and then the flower Narcisse bloomed from the waters. How do you say Narcisse in English? I'm sorry, I forget. Anyway, Page of Cups and Justice. Looking in yourself in the mirror and being unapologetically dismantling of yourself. This is someone looking in the mirror, wide aware of their truth, for good and bad. This is an acknowledgement of your BS, our BS. We know who wronged us and we know who we wronged. And that is the nature of true equilibrium and true justice. See, this is the spiritual energetic justice and truth. This is the 3D black and white law of man type of truth. This is unconditional. It's also Iris, the goddess of true love and unconditional love. This is very much so conditional. Two polarities for the same thing, aka truth. And this is being able to look at ourselves without making excuses, knowing exactly who and what we are. Once again, for better and worse. Admitting, criticizing, cutting, and yet accepting and self-loving. On a mundane level, March might bring a resolution of a court case or of something technical, paperwork, visas, approvals, diplomas, confirmations, and so on. More like possibly, because it's a reading technically for February, so end of February, Pisces season. Somewhere between February 20th to and on. And this will happen energetically thanks to you owning up to who and what you are. What was done to you, but also what you have done to others. Remember the polarities that we are familiar with in the other zodiac sign? In Ophiuchus, they're both in there. The light and the shadow. The consciousness and the unconsciousness. Love will come from self-love. I know you've heard it so much, but the thing is, so often we confuse self-love with self-denial. You don't have to tell yourself you're perfect to love yourself. You can tell yourself exactly what and who you are. You can acknowledge your abilities and disabilities. You can acknowledge your strengths and weaknesses. You can acknowledge your beauty and alleged lack of beauty and still love yourself. That's true healing, not forcing changing yourself, but taking yourself as you are, fully loving it. And from there, change will happen. This isn't about, I just wrote it to someone, to a friend of mine yesterday. It's funny. To truly change ourselves is to first truly accept ourselves and knowing the reasons for why we do the things we do. And once you have awareness of why you do something, that's when it automatically shifts its behavior pattern, and then you change, but not from a place of resistance and forcing it and pushing it, but from a natural place of flow. For example, if you have a compulsive, whatever, let's say compulsive eating, by forcing yourself to not eat and creating a sense of lack and need and desire for something that you can't have, you're not healing it. You're just creating more resistance and more need and want to do the thing that you're trying to fight off, aka compulsive eating, because it gives some sort of comfort. But once you understand exactly why you're doing it, and it's just an example, it could be anything else. Once you understand the reason behind your compulsive eating, why you do it, and really dive within, with love and understanding and acceptance and no judgment, and just going in to fully understand and feel and acknowledge, that's when that part of you that creates that need, that creates that compulsion, feels accepted and loved, and then it no longer is eager to fill itself up with something because it doesn't feel like it's missing anything, because you love it and accept it and understand it. It's heard. And then by default, you no longer have that urge to compulsively eat. Not because you forced yourself. It's like me. I'm vegan. I don't need. It's not hard for me. I don't need to force myself. Occasionally, there's a temptation, but it's more social, right? Of the sense of feeling belong. But because I know so deeply why, it's not that I'm forcing myself to do something that I was told is needed or is right. I truly investigated and learned what is in the food, and I'm now repulsed by most of the foods we eat, right? And once I understood and saw and really grasped what was going on with the animal kingdom and what we do to them, or the implications of our life on this planet and what it does to Gaia, it's like I don't have that desire to eat these things. For me, animal products is consuming cruelty, disease, and rot. It's like I don't At first it was difficult, the transition, but the more I learn about it, the more I go within to have the knowledge and also connect with myself, to who I am. What do I truly want for myself? I want health. I want compassion to animals. These are the things that I want. It's not difficult. It flows. You can take it, you can copy paste it to any type of diet or any type of habit that you want to change or create. It's a combination of self-awareness, both from a loving, healing place and both from a sharp, cognitive place. And then the changes automatically occur. And it's powerful. Think of a tsunami, how powerful it is. But if you dissect it, it's basically a flow of flow. Small wave leads to a bigger wave, to a bigger wave, to a bigger wave, to a bigger, huge wave, tsunami. How powerful that is. But the tsunami didn't force itself to be a tsunami. It was a pilation of flows and waves. Do you know how powerful you can be by simply understanding yourself? There's nothing you won't be able to do. Show me more. Knight of Pentacles. But what about the money, Morgane? You have 6 of Pentacles and Knight of Pentacles, and you started with 3 of Pentacles. You've invested in something. It brought in some sort of reward, will. And then you'll wonder, what should I do with it? Do the most necessary, urgent thing first. Think from a place of earth. First there's the soil, then there's the seed, then there's the water, then it comes up, then there's the oxygen and the sun. The chronological nature of nature is important when it comes to how the world of the elements. And when it comes to specifically this topic, or finances, or love even, you had the soil. You planted an unknown seed. It struggled through the dirt. You gave it water and love and patience. And then it burst through the soil, out into the open, into the air. And now think, what is the next necessary step? If you have a sum of money, but several things that you need to do with money, first pay your rent, then pay your bills, then pay your tickets and whatever. Think the pyramid of Maslow, the pyramid of needs. Queen of Swords. This is something to think with the analytics. This is something to plan. Plan the risk. Right? Yeah, you're going into the underworld, but that doesn't mean you can't go there knowledgeable about what you're about to encounter. If you don't know that there's a Styx river that you have to pass in order to get to Persephone, the hounds will get you before you even step on the boat. Ah, the boat. This is also promises and contracts and the word, you know, the importance of the spoken word or the written word. And the Styx river is named after a goddess named Styx, she was the goddess of oaths and not obligations, but contracts, promises. You are called to make some sort of promise or what's the word? You know, the thing that you give to the gods when you, an offering, a pledge. You are called to pledge to something. in order to gain something. In February. That will be the major, most important part of whatever this is, whatever this endeavor you are embarking on. Quid pro quo. The moon. And you're worried and you're scared and you're unsure. And speaking of the Styx River, it had the dogs of Hecate. Hecate helped helped people crossing between the world of the living and the world of the dead. It wasn't her job as much as she was an advisor for Hades and Persephone. I'm not going to go into it, but either way, in the underworld, there's waters, there's monsters, there's a lot of things to go through, and you're fully aware that whatever endeavor you're going on, it requires your risk, your devotion, your awareness, and it's hard. It's going to bring up some gunky stuff from the subconscious. It's scary to walk on a tightrope. And yet to cross from A to B, you gotta walk the tightrope, you gotta cross the Styx. Swim through the mist. Seven of Swords. Can't go around it, Seeker. Don't try to avoid whatever it is that is coming up in February that requires you to pledge, devote, honor. There's a sense of honor here, especially with the Knight. So much, the honor of the spoken word, the honor of the promise. For those of you who will try to avoid it by being manipulative, you will lose all of this. 1 second before reaching Avalon, 1 second before stepping out of the underworld back to the living, 1 second before mission accomplished. If you'll twirl it and try to make a detour or a shortcut around something instead of through something, you'll wake up and it will all be like a dream, and you won't be. You know how when you wake up and you try to hold on to the dream, to the remembering, and it fades out? It will feel like that. It's so real. It's so in front of you. It's so possible. This impossible is so possible. But if you won't be true, Ophiuchus, it will dissipate. Be cognitive. Be heart-based as well. But with truth. I don't know how to emphasize it more. This is important. And if they do, and if they do, and if they do, what will be, what will be, what will be. Show me. Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords is the finale of a karmic long test. Painful one, might I say. It's when you reach the 10th hour and then make that extra oomph to cross the 11th hour. And then you just breathe and rest. And you know you are safe. And you know that you did it. You made it. And there is no more curses or no more inner triggers that keep blocking your growth. There's no more. I'm getting the word persecution. Might seem extreme, because in myth this is Orestes being persecuted by 3 demons, that he was cursed because he did something, wanted to punish himself, yada yada, whatever. But bottom line, he didn't have peace for a very, very long time. And now finally, I asked, what will be if you will be true? The goddess of justice, we see her right here. Athena will judge in your favor and grant you your freedom. If this is literal, congratulations. If this is spiritual, metaphysical, energetic, karmic, congratulations. Remember what I said. I asked if. This is great. I did a special karmic shift and liberation reading, one for each zodiac sign, and there's one for Ophiuchus. The Ophiuchus one is for free on my channel. All the other 12 are available on my Vimeo, but also on my Patreon for those of you that join a monthly subscription as a patron. There's different tiers, and the karmic shift ones, all 12, are on the 3rd tier, on the shifter tier. There's a seeker, there's a seer, and then there's a shifter. But it's also available by the singular on Vimeo if you want to check it out. I go into past lifetimes karma, current lifetime karma, and generational karma. It's a unique long read spread that I created. Check it out if you want to, because 10 of Swords really speak of the ending and the release of karma. So, and I named it Karmic Shift and Liberation, so it makes sense. Bottom of the deck, oof, the Devil and the Ace of Wands. The Devil has been coming up in readings. Sometimes it depicts evil and fear. Sometimes it depicts passion, desire, and life force. And we have the devil from the Greek, from the mythic tarot, which is depicted by the god Pan, who was actually, what's the word? He was denied by the gods because he was born very ugly, literally just because of his looks, and they didn't want an ugly god, so they cast him to Earth to live in the woods. So he's like half goat, half god. And he was, he raised himself wild, like a wildling, and ashamed of himself. So and it was all about survival and feeling persecuted. But that forced him, because he was so out of the societal norm, both of the human and of both of the humans and of the gods, it forced him to tap fully into his pure essence without any characteristics like we have from the zodiac sign, and 100% be connected and tap to his core and essence and will, true pure will, which is the way of manifestation. Watch my True Secrets of Manifestation. It's on my 13th Element playlist if you want to know more about true manifestation that happens from the subconscious, whether we like it or not. The desire, the passion, the thing that comes from the heart and from our center of existence is our rawest, purest truth. And once we're able to admit it to ourselves, that's when we can manifest life. This is not evil, this combination. It's very sexual, very passionate. There is massive desire here. And as long as it's not expressed as in a controlling, abrasive way, it's pretty exciting. So some of you are connecting maybe for the first time because you were so overwhelmed and immersed and sedated by whatever karmic cycle this was. You didn't have room or freedom to feel yourself truly. But for those of you who will cross that bridge and be acknowledged by the goddess of justice that you are now innocent, that you are now free, you paid your dues, whatever, it will spark a beginning of your I was about to say new self, but it's actually your true self that was hidden and covered. And because the sensation is so new, it will feel scary and you might be tempted to judge yourself. But here's the way to look. If you're not hurting anyone, it's good. If whatever it is you feel and desire is A, true, B, not abrasive or at the expense of someone else, then you have the go. Boom. Of course I'm going to take out runes. How could I not? Runes for my Ophiuchus for this coming month, please. What do the runes have to say? Oh my god, this is so exciting. Okay. To prove that that's how it felt, I'm going to show you. Okay, so your perspective sees it as reversed, but in my perspective, it's actually in the upright. Bjork in the upright. And Sus in the upright. And Turisas lying down. The divine feminine's wisdom will help guide you, whether it be Psyche or Aphrodite or Persephone or Athena or Iris or Hecate, whichever divine feminine symbolism, archetypes, one, few, or all that you tap into, it will help guide you. It will be you'll feel a little bit of resistance with Turisas here and laying down. It's not in the upright, it's not in the reverse, it's like this. Because your ego will be challenged by notions of right and wrong, black and white notions of right and wrong. And you'll struggle a little bit in finding the balance between the ethereal truth and the 3D truth. And the way to be guided through it is by all this divine feminine wisdom that I just spoke. The moon as well. Speaking of Hecate, she was goddess of the moon. The three stages of the moon. The maiden, the mother, and the crone. She is an embodiment of all the divine feminine, and some will say of Persephone as the maiden, of Demeter as the mother, and Hecate herself as the crone. That is a combination of all three. This is a wise feminine guidance here. Look at it from my perspective. That is putting down the hammer of Thor, the battlefield, to rest. It's a new type of warfare. It's a new type of wisdom and success and expansion and growth. It's whimsical and free. It's beautiful. Some of you, it will be, in February. Some of you, it will be whenever you're watching this. Some of you, it will be a process of a few months, of a few years, of a few weeks, or a few days. It all depends on where you are on the journey, but I believe if you're here, hearing this, then it's relevant for you for the now, for the now moment. Because there isn't an official whatchamacallit, extended for Ophiuchus. You have all the other signs extended where I told you in the beginning and in the links below. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a taste of what is an extended, what I do on my extended. So let's keep going with this a little bit, okay? So let's take the elemental numeric aspects. We have 2 8s here. I think it's the only repetition. Let's take the major arcanas. We have Justice, Temperance, the Devil, and the Moon. Ooh. Deep desires versus what is right and what is wrong, and trying to balance it all. It's a worthy endeavor, Ophiuchus. I'm rooting for you. Okay. 5, 6, 7. Sorry, this part takes a little bit of technicality. I keep having the song in my head running. You still don't wanna run to the one that I belong to. I don't know who has it ringing a bell for some reason. Okay, let's do it this way. Just to see what else is coming up. 2 8s. Yeah, there's karmic release with the 10 of Swords here. And a new start. And we'll feel a little bit wobbly on the tightrope to figure out your exact moves with this newfound knowing of self, but it's good. Something very loving and very passionate here. I'm not going into the clarifying because it will just be too long. I don't actually want to do an entire type of an extended, but for those of you who like this, there's 2 1s because 10 is a 1, so it's like 2 aces and 2 8s. And let's ask for an animal spirit as well for my Ophiuchus. For this coming month, message from the animal spirit. Well, it's as long as a regular and an extended, that's for sure. Now I'm noticing we're on 48 minutes. Oh well. Gazelle. Who else had this in their extended? Otter. Aw, one more. Scorpio. Fire and water. Speaking of Ophiuchus, which is Sag and Scorpio-like, it's very fire and water. This is the Temperance card. It tempers the archetype of the lion and the archetype of the eagle, which is the evolved expression of the eagle, meaning Scorpio, and lion meaning the wounded healer, Chiron. The evolved expression, like the king of the animal kingdom on earth and then the king of the animal kingdom in the sky. Anyway, sorry. What was I saying? Gazelle, otter, Scorpio. I don't want to just over confuse you with tons of myths. It's like it never ending, so I'm trying to speak like a normal person. There's a friendship here between seemingly 2 normal people, but something about their alchemy, about their connection, makes it really, really intense. This could be an intense sexual connection, very, very passionate, that brings out both of you deepest instincts and desires. You like trigger it within each other. Like seemingly you're like innocent and clean, but you're very, very both very deep and very intense. And encountering each other allows that aspects in you to come out, and I find it pretty gorgeous. And also it heals a lot of aspects of yourself, of both of you. It's once again the transmutation, like peacocks, they can consume poison and transmute it into nutrition. So it's taking the shadow aspects, not the evil aspects. Shadow isn't evil. It's the hidden aspect of our subconscious, of our desire, of our passions, of our will, our truest form of will. Without the social conformist semantics of right versus wrong. And both of you are lovely participants in society. You are benevolent citizens and people, but your connection brings out something very raw and very ancient, and I find it to be really exciting. The otter and the gazelle. Very mystical. Of course it's mystical. This is a reading for Ophiuchus. Last but not least, I started doing something recently where I ask for a spiritual guidance. If those of you want to take it an extra level, and I use 22 cards from the Major Arcana from the Rider-Waite deck, just the 22 because they bring the most spiritual messages. One energetic spiritual focal point for Ophiuchus for this coming month to either meditate on or to work through. The moon, and this is confirmation because we have the moon card on the table. So this is allowing yourself to feel all of it, the confusion, the pain, the unknown, and getting to know thyself, even if it hurts. This is very maternal as well and very feminine. It's guided by the moon, by the intuition, by the dream realm. So maybe diving more into your dreams, into your lucid dreaming, and trying to sleep far away from electricity, like your phone, your laptop, just to have the frequency, the energy around you not affected by all the frequencies of all the electricity. To just be able to have a clean perception of your subconscious while you sleep, and truly get to know yourself and try to remember your dreams, right? I'm picking up that the message is connected to dreams. So maybe every morning, write down your dreams, think about it. If you don't remember your dreams, it doesn't mean that you didn't dream. We all dream always. It's just a question of whether we remember it or not. If you don't remember your dream, before you go to sleep, ask from your subconscious and your conscious to remember your dreams, to be conscious of them. And when you wake up, try to write it down. If it doesn't happen in the first night, keep going. It will happen, trust me. As long as it takes. It's a process. Once your brain knows that you want to remember the dreams, it is wired towards it. It's geared towards that. So basically just speak it to yourself. And see what comes up, and look at the archetypes and the symbolism and how it connects to your life today and what you can make of it. That's specifically what I'm picking up for the general reading on YouTube. If you want to know more, the spiritual, the energetic, the 3D interpretation of the moon in a reading, all those layers and the myths and archetypes, I have an online tarot masterclass where I teach everything about tarot, where I teach you how to be a tarotchi. I will specifically link the moon card class from that course of mine. You don't have to take all the classes. You can just pick and choose whichever ones you want. So I'll link the moon. Thank you guys for being here. Namaste, gasho, thank you, gracias, merci, grazie, toda. Every language you can imagine. Shukran. I love you all. See you in the other readings, and I'll see you in the other extendeds if you'll check them out. Bye.